2 and S.ID.3.
Let's determine the effects of changes in a data set on the measures of central tendency. Well, what effect do you think an extreme value, an outlier, would have on the three measures of central tendency? The mean, the median, and the mode. Remember, the mean is the average. The median is the middle number, and the mode is the number that occurs the most often. Let's look at a few examples. For example 1, the ages of 10 7th grade students are given. Find the mean, the median, and the mode. Now the mean's what we're going to do first. I notice for the 7th graders, we have a lot of 11-year-olds, a couple 12-year-olds, and a 13-year-old. So how do you find the mean? Well, the mean is the average. So you add them all together. It really doesn't matter what order they're in. So I add them together, I get 115. Divide by how many there are, and we said there's 10 7th graders, so we divide by 10, and we're going to get that average, which is 11.5. So that's the mean. Now the next thing to find is the median, and the median is the middle number. Well, it's hard to see what the middle number is unless they are in order. So the order does matter for the median. So we go from least to greatest, ascending order, and if we do that, our set looks something like this. Now what I do is I start on the outside and just kind of count my way in. Since we have 10 numbers in this set, we're really looking at the 5th and the 6th number. Now we kind of lucked out on this one because they're both 11, so we already know the answer is 11, but let's talk about this a little bit. If it would have been something else, like maybe the middle numbers were 6 and 7 or something, how do you find the average? Well, that's where you add them together and divide by 2. But like I mentioned, in this case, 11 plus 11 divided by 2, still 11. So that is our median. Now our last answer is the mode, and the mode is the number that occurs the most often. Again, order is important on the mode. So if we look at our set in order, just like we did with the median, what number occurs the most? Well, it's 11 that occurs the most. So that is our mode. For example 2, we're going to use the same set of numbers as example 1, except we're going to change one little thing. We're also going to add in the age of the teacher, which is 50. Now, how does this change the set of data? Well, let's find the mean, the median, and the mode. The mean, add them all up, divide by how many there are. So if we find the sum of all the numbers, that's 165. Now we're going to divide by 11 people because we're going to include the teacher's age, and that's going to give us an average of 15. That's our mean. Now think about how that compares to the mean of example 1, but we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Now the median is the middle number. So again, order matters. This time, since there are 11 numbers, there is a middle number. And it is 11, okay? That is the 6th number in that set. So that is the median. The mode is the number that occurs the most often, and again, you'll notice that has not changed. The mode is still 11. So how did that change our set of data? Well, if we look at example 1 and example 2, the mean, the median, and the mode, on example 1, 11.5, 11, and 11 for the mean, median, and mode respectively. For example 2, it was 15 and 11 and 11. So adding that one number changed our mean, but the mode and the median did not change. So by comparing the results of example 1 and example 2, we see that the mean was the most affected by change in the data set. For this reason, the mean is not the best measure of central tendency when outliers are involved. By adding that 50, that teacher's age, we changed the mean, but the median and the mode of our set did not change. So the mean is the one that is most prone to change when you have an outlier. So now let's look at example 3. Companies A and B each have 10 employees. Their hourly pay in dollars is shown below. So we've got company A, all of the hourly rates of each employee, and company B, same thing. So let's answer two questions. Question A says, find the mean hourly pay for each company, and B says, if you are just starting to work, would you work for company A or company B, and why? So on A part, how do we find a mean? Well, that's where we add them all up and divide by how many there are. So on A, there's 10 employees, so the average is 8.5. On company B, we add them all up, and so we divide by, again, 10 employees, so the average, again, is 8.5. So the mean hourly pay for both companies is $8.50. Now look at question B. If you are just starting to work, would you rather work for company A or company B, and why? Remember, their mean is the same. Well, most people would say Well, let's work for company B. Even though the mean hourly salary is the same, 9 of the 10 workers in company A make only $5 an hour. 8 out of the 10 in company B make more than $5 an hour. So the outlier of 40 in state A really affects what the mean is. So always remember, the average, it's an important number. The mean is an important number to find, but those other measures of central tendency are just as important whenever you're looking at a set of data.